Are you interested in making your videos look more cinematic and turn them from looking like this to this? Today I'm going to show you how you can achieve a perfect cinematic look by using this simple 5-step process. Before we get started in the editing process, I just want to run through a couple of settings that I used in my camera. I used my Sony FX30, I shot it in 24 frames per second, kept my shutter speed of 1/48. I used the base ISO of 800, and then I also shot it in sgamut3.cine slog3. So that pretty much covers everything in regards to the video clip itself. So once you're inside DaVinci Resolve and you have imported the videos that you want to edit, you're going to drag it into your timeline, and from here you're going to want to go over to your color tab. For my editing process, I'm using this 5-node system, which is super simple, and I'm going to run you through what each individual node is doing in order to achieve this final look. At the end of this video, I'll also show you how to save this as a power grade to simplify your workflow in the future, and then that way all you'll have to do is simply select the power grade, and all the edits that we've made throughout this video will be quickly implemented by one click of a button. So first off, we're going to run through a couple of the initial nodes. As I mentioned before, I shot this in slog3, so one of the primary things that you're going to want to do is convert that into Rec 709. There are two ways of doing this. You can go ahead and do it through the color space transformation, which you can find over here in the library section. Color space transformation, you're going to want to change this from what you initially shot in, which in my situation was Sony sgamut3.cine, and then also input gamma was slog3. That's going to bring back the color that should be normal from inside of your camera. As you can see, it went from a dull image to looking pretty normal. The way that I like to do it is I've saved a Rec 709 conversion to where I can simply just select this and it brings it back. So as you're able to tell, I have that saved right here on the left hand side as a LUT. So all you have to do is create a node, select it, and add it. Under my situation, I already have it installed right here. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is expose your shot correctly and also white balance your footage in order to bring it to a true white color. That's what I've done in this node. I've upped the exposure by a little bit, and then I have also white balanced my footage. In order to white balance your footage, a couple things that you can do is select this dropper, select something white in your scene, and that should white balance it. And then from there, you can make any minor adjustments in order to make it look a little bit more cooler, a little bit more warmer, and then also the tint with the magenta and the greens. The main thing that you want to achieve here is make the whites look actual white. There are times where you go ahead and convert it into Rec 709 and you notice that your footage looks a little bit more green, or times where it looks a little bit more magenta. You want to aim it to where whites look actual white, and from there it's going to be a lot easier to color correct. And then also when you implement your LUTs, it's going to look a little bit more true to the intention of what that LUT is supposed to do on your footage. So with this initial node, correct your exposure. As you can see, I bumped mine up because it was at this. I put it at 11. Once you have converted your log footage into Rec 709 and properly exposed it and white balanced, you're going to want to bring some LUTs into it. So for my third node, I have a LUT implemented on this. The LUT that I have used shifts the colors on the blues and the oranges. As you can tell, everything still looks good. There's a little bit more color shift on the orange and blues within the scene, and then brings a little bit of a green hue to it. But ultimately, that's the point of this LUT, is to color shift it, make it a little bit more appealing to the eye. But then it's super simple in order to do this. The LUT that I use is one that I got from the Full-Time Filmmaker crew. If you follow their YouTube channel, sign up to their newsletter, they give out these LUTs for free. And then that's going to be the main LUT that I'm using for this video clip. What you can do is select your node and then double click it or click and drag onto your node, and that's going to implement that LUTs feel into it. As you can tell, there's a couple of other LUTs that I have here. Each one does something different. There's minor adjustments that are made to the color, but depending on what your final look and feel needs to be for your client or even for your personal projects, you're going to want to go ahead and correct all of that underneath this LUT node. Once you have that LUT implemented based on what you want your final footage to look like, there are a couple additional options that you can make in order to bring that cinematic look to life. One of the things that I've done is added a vignette. And these are the settings that I have for my vignette. What you can do is simply create a node, same thing that you did with your color space transformation, look for the vignette option, and then from there, you go ahead and click and drag onto your node. I don't want it to be too strong. I don't want it to be too overwhelming to where it becomes distracting. The main reasoning for the vignette on this specific clip is that there was plenty of empty space right here, and then we noticed that in post to where the vignetting helps focus it a little bit more on the subject that we're shooting. Another optional thing that you can do is add some grain, and that's going to make it look a little bit more filmic, a little bit more cinematic, which is more common nowadays. A lot of people are trying to emulate film. This is going to be one of the ways to do it, adding a little bit of grain. Same thing, you can add it through the library section in DaVinci Resolve. Click, grab, drop onto your node, and then from there, the settings that I'm using for the vignette are these: 8mm 200T overlay at 0.403 opacity. One of the cool things about DaVinci Resolve is you have this option in order to view the grain only with the footage already on there. It's a little bit difficult to try to see what the grain is doing on your clips, but by doing grain only, that shows you what type of grain you're adding onto your footage, and then also the difference between all the other grains. One last thing that I like to do and that we're going to be doing for this project is adding some black bars to the top and bottom. I may get roasted for this because that's mimicking anamorphic lenses, which I wish I had, but since I don't, this is one way to bypass that and add it to your video clips. I feel that it's important to add them because of the same reason that I added the vignette. There's plenty of open space above the subject and to the left of the subject to where it becomes a little bit distracting. If you're watching this video clip just like this, you're going to lose focus. You're going to start looking at the sign. Oh, what does the sign say because it's clipped off? Oh, what does this say? So the vignette helps focus the attention more to the subject, and that's what the black bars are going to do as well. In order to add the black bars to your footage, you're going to head over to your timeline tab, drop down over to output blanking, and I like using 2.35. As you're able to tell with the black bars, you start focusing a little bit more on your subject. There's less dead space in the video clip, and on top of that, it gives you a little bit more wiggle room in order to adjust your subject to be truly centered. Once you've added those black bars, you head over to your edit tab, click on the clip that you want to adjust, and from here you can go ahead and add what you want. Brings the video clip a bit higher, helps you focus on the subject, on top with the vignetting, and from here you're getting perfect cinematic looking footage every single time. So once all the edits have been made, it's perfectly representing what you want your final output to look like, and then everything is where you want it to be. Save it as a power grade because that's going to be a massive time saver. In order to save it as a power grade, you're going to want to right click it, grab still, and save it into a power grade folder. If you don't have one, you can go ahead and create one. You can do that over here in the gallery section on the left hand side. And then once you have your power grade area and you've grabbed your still, you can name this what you would like. And then from here, as you can tell, I can go ahead and delete everything that we've just done. Double click, and it implements all the edits that were made throughout our process. Super simple, super efficient. And then from here, you can make minor adjustments, save all these different power grades, and make your workflow super easy in the future, regardless of what your videos initially look like. And then what you can simply do in the future, whenever you bring any additional clips to your video editing process, is go here, head over to your clip, power grade, add that power grade, and it does all the work for you. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found this helpful. If you guys do have any questions about any of the steps that we went through in this video, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. If you guys really enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and even feel free to subscribe for any future videos similar to what we've ran through today. And if you're interested in any of the stuff that I use for my camera gear when shooting with clients, work, and even personal projects, feel free to check the description down below. I have everything listed. And ultimately, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.